Are you trying to break into the booming field of cybersecurity, but you're drowning in conflicting advice? In fact, you hear all of these promises of six-figure careers and little to no experience in order to get them. But you're also seeing all of these insane demands in the millions of these jobs requiring cybersecurity professionals out there. But when you go and you look at these job listings, it looks like you need years of experience even at the entry level. In fact, it looks like after reading through them and going through all of the job listings at the entry level, you need a job to get the experience, but you need the experience to get the job. It's the forever loop and it's frustrating, and I'm here to help shed some light on exactly what you need to do to go from zero to getting one of these amazing jobs and fulfilling careers that pays very well and is future-proof. In fact, this is your exact roadmap to the top 4 certifications that you can stack one on top of the other to give you the skill, the experience, and tilt everything in your favor to land one of these amazing, high-paying cybersecurity jobs. I'm HackWithZach. Let's go. Welcome to the truth about cybersecurity certificates. I am going to break down a lot of the confusion, a lot of the misunderstandings and misgivings that there are about the certificate industry in cybersecurity. And I'm going to lay out the 4 security certificates that will help you land your first entry-level job or land a significantly improved cybersecurity job. If you're currently working in, let's say, as a event response analyst or an IT security, and you're not happy with your job, landing one of those amazing SOC analyst or cybersecurity analyst job. How are we going to do that? Well, first thing you need to do is understand what certificates do for you and what they don't do. Then we're going to go through step by step each of the certificates that you need to apply yourself to get in order to stack learning credentials up to the point where you can get one of those roles, walk into the job interview, nail it out of the park, knowing that you have all of the skills that it takes in order to perform the roles. Then we're going to put it all together in order to be able to present your best self and be able to communicate effectively everything that you've learned in this whole process, so the job is yours. Before we jump into any of that, this is part 3 in a multiple part series. The first 2 ones that we did, number 1 was a roadmap, and we line out exactly how to go from nothing to a cybersecurity professional. Now we're breaking down each one of those pieces. The last one was identifying the kind of job that you might want. This one in particular is, okay, you know that you want to get entry-level SOC analyst, cybersecurity analyst, boom. These are the certifications and knowledge and some of the information that it takes in order to accumulate those skills. Then we'll get into what type of labs that you want to go, that you want to put together for yourself, the resume and also cover letters, and some of the exact type of interview questions and interview tips, especially when it comes to the technical interviews that can be trippy and confusing. I'm going to include that in this entire series, but you have to like and subscribe, and also in the upper right-hand corner, click that notification bell in order to get on this distribution list. It goes a really long way to help support the community. I'm giving this entire series away for free. It's something I have had to pay thousands of dollars in order to accumulate, and that's not something that you have to do. In fact, we could probably keep you under $600-700 for this entire process to land one of those six-figure cybersecurity jobs. But like and subscribe in order to get it, and comment down below if I can help personalize this to you. Let's go. So what certificates do and what they don't do. So the very first thing people have a misconception is you're just going to pass a couple of certifications and land a job. It's not how this works. It's not the point of it. Imagine a human resources professional is going to have to sort through, let's say they had 1,000 submissions for a cybersecurity SOC analyst or cybersecurity analyst role. Of those 1,000, only 10% of them were flagged by the machine learning or AI algorithm to have some of the requirements that it takes to even be considered. So you're still looking at 1 to 200 of these applications that a human resources or a hiring manager is going to have to go through in order to determine whether or not you're going to be worthy to hire. Right? Now, if they look at this and they see you have no experience and you do not have a college degree related to the cybersecurity field, how in the world are you going to stand out or look like somebody that's going to be worth them to even taking a shot at? That is where these certifications do come in. It shows a dedication to putting forth and filling the gaps of knowledge of skill and even the requirements of the technology stacks that it might take in order to fill that role that this individual human resources person or hiring manager needs for that job. This is how you meet those requirements. Now, notice I'm not saying, hey, this role needs a cybersecurity plus person. That is literally just something on a resume. How did you go about getting that cybersecurity plus certification? Did you go through a boot camp? Were you in there actively going through hack labs? Were you going through the step-by-step process that I have lined out here with the 4 certifications that are going to cost you less than, let's say, $700 to accumulate while doing all the work, showing that you're applying yourself in order to get these skills, get this knowledge, and fulfill those requirements, and be able to walk in after they say, hey, we're going to take a chance on you with confidence and poise because you've done all of this work. That's what certificates do. They squeeze and compress that time frame and all that knowledge that you might not have been able to get in a university or with job experience into very focused, laser-like responsibilities and demonstrations that you are doing to show you can do the job. What they don't do, they do not guarantee you a job. Sure, you can get through the algorithm, but if you're also a person that's just test taking, you're going to get exposed in your job and very quickly. If you're somebody that is all knowledge, no skill, there's going to be some technical interview questions or technical tests that will be required of you that you're going to get tripped up on. You flat out won't be able to do them. And that's another thing where you will not be able to get that job if you're not putting in the work. So whatever you're lacking in both experience and wisdom, you do need to make up for in the knowledge and the skill that you gain through practical labs while studying for the really knowing the information at an application level, not just a knowledge level. The certifications will not replace lab work. So I've detailed this out. I've never been a red team person. I have done some penetration tests. I've done a lot of vulnerability scan, but my intention is to pass the certified ethical hacker exam coming up pretty soon. Now, what I am not doing, I could go and look at a bunch of test dumps and just take a bunch of these tests, go and challenge for that certified ethical hacker exam. But I'm not going that route. What I am doing is taking each domain and labbing these required security tools and the required process that it takes to be a certified ethical hacker or a penetration tester. So I know exactly what to do, not just from a standpoint of taking the test, but being able to go in and work as a penetration tester. Even though I don't ever plan to be one, I do want to be able to do all of these roles and responsibilities because I like doing it, and it gives me a leg up on being able to help you guys go through this as well. One last thing of note that I really want to harp on here. Certifications have a tendency to be about 1 to 2 years behind the innovation of the time. It's just how it works. I can say right now, the CEH version that I'm studying for, it will not get updated to have any of the AI advancements until the beginning of next year. And that's stuff that I need to know. With that said, just understand you also need to be supplementing the information that you're not getting with these certifications that you're studying for or trying to nail with new threat intelligence feeds, with the new and emerging technologies and ways to either identify or protect against brand new like zero-day attacks and threat vectors that are coming in. So yeah, a lot of this sounds like it could be difficult, but not if you go through this step-by-step process. And that begins starting with the ISC2 certified in cybersecurity. This in particular, why does it matter? Well, ISC2 is currently offering this for free, and it's for beginners. It's for people without a foundation of how networks work and without a foundation of how you can then go and defend and fortify some of these networks. This is going to literally give you all of these cybersecurity principles and networking principles that you need in order to really build your skill set and your knowledge on a firm foundation. It allows for understanding how business continuity works once you've had a disaster, or once you've had been, as many people say, hacked or exploited, or an incident has happened and you need to recover from it. Also, you're going to start learning how a lot of the roles for identity and access management are created, built up, destroyed, how the principles of least privilege apply, and why they're really important across most of the roles that you're going to wind up having to enforce. Take, for instance, you notice that there is a janitor that's logging in with the same privileges as a CEO, and he's pulling from financial report. Well, that custodian probably shouldn't be in there, and it's probably not the janitor. He was probably compromised, and you need to figure out why inside of those access control concepts, how to get him out, why he's doing what he's doing, and why it's suspicious. Last and not least, really truly being able to get into the depth of each protocol at each layer, going from layer 7 all the way down to, usually it's about 3 or 4. 1 and 2 you don't have that much control over, but knowing how there are vulnerabilities at each layer of a network and how to fortify and defend against them, or even what might be exploited each one. Again, this one's absolutely for free. I have a link right down below. Another thing that's really cool, not only is it free, but it also gives you a really good foundation to start building up if you want to start getting into some of the more difficult types of cybersecurity certifications. ISC2 will then start giving you a discount, or you'll have insight into how to make your transition into the next of the ISC2 certifications. So that's the first in our 4 certifications that we're recommending. The second one is the Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate. This one and the next one, the IBM certificate, it is actually accessible through Coursera. Now, I actually took the IBM Cybersecurity Analyst Professional Certificate. It's so much to say. We'll just call this the Google Cybersecurity Certificate. I took the IBM, and I was able to get very good hands-on lab experience and into the mind of what a cybersecurity analyst does, and use my technical expertise in order to get my first SOC role. The cool thing is, this Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate was not out when I started all of this. And in fact, I wish it was, because it's amazing what it does. It literally is a hands-on program willing to walk through with labs, tools, and workflow on how to function in a secure operations center environment. And it will take all the theory that you're learning inside of the ISC2CC and give you real, not just theory, but practice capabilities and knowledge and skill sets that it takes in order to be able to perform a SOC analyst or cybersecurity analyst role. On top of it, you're going to learn Chronicle and Splunk. My first SOC analyst job that I wound up working, we used both of these, and it took me a lot to be able to get caught up to and learn these. And in that training, if I would have gotten through it faster, I would have gotten paid more fast. You're going to have this knowledge before even starting your first role by getting this experience and taking the certification. You're also going to learn Linux command line and scripting, which is absolutely nuts. It took me 3 years on the job in order to start doing that. You're going to learn vulnerability scanning and reporting, something I did not learn until I started going through a cybersecurity boot camp, which was thousands of dollars. And guys, the cool thing is you can get in 7 days for free, probably wind up getting about halfway through this, pay $50 and get through the other probably 2/3. You should probably be able to finish this in a month. And if you finish this in a month and you're able to really apply yourself inside of this, it's only going to cost you $50. total. And again, this is ideal for beginners who prefer like project-based learning and want tangible job-ready skills, especially for working in a secure operations center or to get one of those SOC analyst jobs. Also, it has an AI section. I am actually going to jump in and take the certification myself just to get the AI portion of it. I do think this one in particular is amazing. Remember, link down below in order to get into it. The next in the series is something that I have taken, but this one is a little more related to being a cybersecurity analyst and also a SOC analyst. So IBM has the Cybersecurity Analyst Professional Certificate. We shall call it the IBM Cybersecurity Analyst. It goes real deep into SOC operations, but it also starts talking about how a cybersecurity analyst can utilize QRoC, which is a SIM, QRadar. Sorry, QRoC is their cloud instance. Actually, I think they only have QRoC now. I don't think it's QRadar anymore. Their QRoC SIM, and they have some SOAR automation that can do a lot of the actual threat removal and be able to monitor and know what to do on incident response. And if you're looking to potentially work in enterprise environment, not just a secure operations center, but an enterprise environment, which is the major difference between being a cybersecurity analyst and a SOC analyst, this is going to give you those foundations. Again, very similar to the previous one. This is located on Coursera, 7-day free trial. You could actually get through this one in particular I think it took me 2 to 3 weeks to get through it, but I was putting in about 4 hours a day to do this, including weekends. And if you really wanted to, you could get through this and the previous certification in 2-month time frame. That means it's only going to wind up costing you $100. Some of those key topics that are going to get covered inside of this are network security monitoring, SIM use cases and investigation, being able to utilize QRadar, and looking at a lot of these logs, being able to parse through them, identify what some of these alerts mean, exactly how to not just triage, but then respond to these events to get the attackers out or to mitigate the threat that's coming through, including like the incident response, doing the forensic analysis of being able to break down why that attack was successful and how to get it out. And last but not least, threat intelligence fundamentals, which QRadar and QRoC is amazing at connecting to threat intel feeds, enriching the investigation that you're doing with information that's coming through and being able to take action. It's amazing. And even if you don't understand what I'm talking about, this course makes exactly what I just said very simple and very easy to understand. Now, if you want to be a cybersecurity analyst or an incident responder, this is a perfect certification, but I would do this in this order as I've laid it out. I would not skip a step, especially if you're entry level, because the last but not least is going to be a little bit less of the skill and a lot more of the basic knowledge that it takes in order to perform. Now, the major thing you're going to do by getting the other certificates leading up to the cybersecurity, the CompTIA Security Plus, is having all of the knowledge that it takes in order to nail this industry standard certificate. I believe at the time of this, it is $450 to get the test, to take the test for being a challenging the Security Plus certification. Most people take 60 to 90 days of studying in order to do this, but with the 2.5 months that you're going to put in getting those 3 certifications, it should probably only take you 30 more days to fill in the gaps. That means in total, you're looking at about depending on your experience, about a 4 to 6 month time frame to compress all of this knowledge into your head and being able to utilize it to take this Security Plus and pivot into and be able to demonstrate that you're able to perform an entry-level SOC analyst or cybersecurity analyst role. The Security Plus in particular is recognized as the entry-level knowledge-based certificate in order to be able to do cyber defense. The cool thing about Security Plus, and these are the details that you're gonna have to fill in, it's vendor neutral. So you're not going to see a bunch of these very specific technology stacks that you're going to see in the other security certification, which is the reason why it's better to go get those first, and then you start learning some of the concepts in a more broad and general way because you already have the knowledge of how to use specific tools inside of your career. The topics are threats, attacks, and vulnerabilities, secure network design, risk management and compliance, which is something that is kind of covered in some of those, but not really drilled on. Then some incident response and forensics. You'll be able to nail this thing once you've went through all of this education. Some of the roles that this would be ideal for: IT support staff, junior cybersecurity analyst, and anyone wanting to transition to cybersecurity. So putting this all together, now the duration, I think at the least amount of time, understanding all that needs to go into this, if it takes you less than 3 months, you probably have not done enough of the labs, or you're really not an entry-level person and you're starting with a higher ceiling with more knowledge than most beginners. But a total beginner from the beginning going through this, minimum about 3 to 4 months, maximum about 9 to 12 months. If it's taking you longer than 12, you're probably not taking the amount of action that is required to get these done, and you might be procrastinating. So just on a full, blunt, transparent level, it should only take you 4 to 9 months to get the knowledge, the skill, and put together the lab work in order to accumulate all of the requirements in order to get these roles. Now, mind you, most people are going to school for a 4-year degree in order to do this. And you can do this through 4 certifications in labs in 3 to 9 months. Think that through. That's amazing to nail down a 6-figure job and a career that's going to be paying you the equivalent of what most people need master's degrees in order to get. Very reasonable expectation, but you only get what you put into this. You have a complete cybersecurity foundation. You got a theory. These certifications in and of themselves will give you the tools. I'm also going to start walking through in subsequent videos inside of this series some of the labs that you can put together. And you're going to have the certification credibility, which goes very far inside of this industry. So what is your next steps? Well, once you've went through and nailed all of these, go and apply for the SOC or security analyst roles. In fact, one of the best things that you could do, start identifying 2 or 3 organizations that you want to work for. Identify what their technology stacks are. Are they a Splunk shop? Is there SIM that they utilize? QRadar? Is it Google Chronicle? Is it Splunk? Do they use the Microsoft suite? Whatever the case may be, you then set up your labs and your additional education that you practice on with those technology stacks. Then, once you've achieved these, once you've gotten into one of these roles, you can then start looking at specializing and pivoting into higher paying jobs like a senior cybersecurity analyst that would require the CISA Plus, or even going and becoming something like a cybersecurity architect like I am and getting your CISSP. You could even get into management with those. And also, as you're applying for these jobs, potentially go out and start trying to collect some of these bug bounties. Take a look at them. See what it would take in order to be able to patch some of these vulnerabilities that are real time. Learn scripting, do some of the additional work that you're going to see in a lot of these jobs. In fact, you're going to get exposure to scripting. You're going to get exposure to a lot of the more advanced concepts. Start putting together ever advancing concepts inside of your home labs and inside of potentially doing some consulting on Fiverr or Upwork in order to get some experience with the knowledge that you have. That's it, guys. That's it for me. More in this series. I'm HackWithZach. Thanks for watching. Make sure if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and let me know how you're going to apply this down below. Talk soon.